get right to it. So I invite you to find your seat or your lying down position for our opening centering. So we can continue our journey into easeful presence. Last week we kind of focused on standing balance. Today we will focus more on balancing our nervous system, our breath, our vitality. So maybe hold that in your heart as you decide what kind of a shape you would like to take for the opening centering, whether you'd like to be seated on the floor or on a chair, comfy couch, whatever suits you. The main thing, of course, is always to find ease, especially this month, in whatever shape you've chosen. And so give yourself the gift of props and supports and warmth, and if at all possible in your environment, quietude, right? And silence. And then invite yourself to arrive in this moment and in this space and in this wonderful Thursday morning community. And as you settle yourself in, perhaps also make a discerning choice how you would like to place your eyelids. And I know I prompt this every week, but don't get like complacent about it. Make a new choice every week. Don't think that what worked one day will work forever. So always allow yourself to arrive again. And be sure to hit mute on your microphone. And then also make a discerning choice about how you might like to place your hands. Maybe recalling that that too can be a choice in every single moment, and not to get into a habit about that, but to see what hand placement suits your nervous system this morning. Do you need a bit of grounding? In that case, maybe your palms get settled on the earth or on your legs. Do you need a little bit of vitalizing? Well, maybe in that case, you turn the palms up and invite a bit of inspiration. And you might make a choice at the beginning that later turns out not to have been the most auspicious choice, or maybe something shifts in your experience and it no longer suits. Well, then you know you can always make a change as long as you do it with presence, with patience, and with compassion, and then come back to the opening centering. And then gently allow yourself to meet your body just as it is in this moment, locating sensation within your physical being, perhaps in a particular region, or perhaps you locate the entirety of your physical experience. Placing your focus very deliberately on the body, the physical experience, just as it is in this moment, in this space. And of course, this moment in your body is a reflection of all that has ever come before, and it will become the foundation of how your body and your physical experience will evolve from here. And so as you locate your focus within your body, gently exploring and experiencing what's present, you might also ponder how you can tend to what is present. Perhaps there's a need for compassion with some part of your body, or a bit of patience. Or maybe there's a part of the body that feels confusing. Maybe there you just need a bit of curiosity and presence. How can you tend to your body as it is in this moment? Not to change anything, but to really bring a tender, loving care to your physical being. Patient and curious. And then simply be with what is. Being easefully present with your body just as it is in this moment. And holding your body in this loving awareness, gently locate your focus on your vitality, your energy, maybe most tangibly your breath, and how it is moving in and out. Locating your focus on how your energy is showing up. Is there a bit of a tired energy, or are you raring to go? Or is it just a soft, present energy, not too agitated, not too settled, but just right? Just explore and experience here with an open heart and an open mind, with no desire to change anything, simply noting how is that vital layer of your human experience unfolding in this moment, in this space. Reflecting a lifetime of breaths, a lifetime of energy budgeting, and becoming the foundation for how your vitality unfolds from here. And notice if there's a bit of tending to that might serve here as well. Is there perhaps a way to make the breath a bit more gentle by giving it some compassion and kindness, by inviting some patience into the breath? Or is there a tending to for your vitality? Again, this is not to tend to with a goal to change anything. This is a tending to that is compassionate and loving and kind. It's a tending to that allows your vitality to feel noticed, acknowledged, cared for. And from that place of tending to, you can then simply be with whatever your vitality is in this moment. You can be with your breath just as it is, just as it unfolds. You can be calm and present with your vitality, with your breath, even if there is some challenge. And then holding body and breath in this loving awareness, gently locate your focus onto your mind. Locating perhaps your mind state. Is there distraction or focus or chaos or tiredness, stagnation? Or perhaps your focus turns to the thoughts or the stories or the feelings you're bringing with you in this layer of your human experience. Let yourself explore and experience here as well with an open heart and an open mind, with spacious presence, with ease, opening yourself up to experience, curious, open. And notice if there's a bit of tending to that might serve your mind. Is there something that really needs attention? Is there something that needs compassion? Is there something that simply needs patience or encouragement? This is not a way of attaching to your thoughts or your stories or chasing them away. It's simply a way of being with what is. Curious, compassionate, calmly present with however your mind is unfolding, shaped by a lifetime of experiences, of thoughts, of feelings, relationships, cultural norms, attitudes, beliefs, serving as the platform for how you may think when you step off the mat today. Holding body, breath, and mind in this kind of loving awareness, in this let be sort of mode. Let yourself revel in the capacity you have to locate your focus, to experience and explore yourself, to tend to yourself, to be kind to yourself, to love yourself, to be compassionate and curious and patient and generous and grateful, and to simply be with yourself just as you are in the moment. This is thanks to your deeper inner wisdom, your deep intuitive intelligence that is so unique to our human experience. We are capable of remembrance, of conscious memory, conscious knowing of what has come before, of recognizing causes and conditions. And we understand that each moment becomes the platform for the next moment, and that therefore we have choice in each moment about how we meet the next moment. That's wisdom. This capacity to look ahead and to plan a bit, to imagine how our presence reverberates into the greater web of life. That is humanly unique, or uniquely human. And when we really begin to recognize the miracle that we are as humans, we often can't help but feel a deep and profound gratitude, a deep appreciative joy for what we've been given, a deep altruistic joy for what others have been given. And that is the ultimate layer of our human experience, this capacity to be grateful, to be joyful, and to feel so fully connected to a greater web of life. Do we have this joy in every moment? No. And so simply let yourself revel in the idea that that seed of joy is always there, and that our time on the mat is one way to water it and nourish it. From this place of having tended to yourself and allowed yourself to let be with whatever is, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart if that serves you, as you bow your head to your heart. And gently notice if there is an intention that is perhaps emerging from you, from that wise, intuitive, joyful part of you. An intention that isn't an outcome or a goal that you're setting for self, but a quality that you would like to cultivate. Maybe this comes to you as a word or a phrase or a symbol or simply an open space where something more tangible will arrive later. Whatever it is for you, you can choose, if you would like, to breathe that intention into your heart with your next breath in. And perhaps to send that intention outward into the greater web of life with your next breath out. And when you feel ready to do so, you can release your hands if they were lifted. You can rise to a seat if you were lying down. You can open your eyes if they were closed and lift your gaze if it was lowered. And welcome everyone in yet another new moment. So we'll start with a little bit of breathing. Today we'll start with the hands at the heart. And so today we continue our work with easeful presence, but with that particular focus on really attending to and letting be whatever is unfolding in that vital layer, in that energetic layer that is really made tangible through our breath. And so through the entire practice today, really be with your breath. And whenever you feel yourself getting maybe a little bit disturbed or out of sorts or tired or agitated, you can always come back to this place, hands at your heart, feeling your own heartbeat, this very concrete experience that we can feel under our hands of our energy, vitality, and breath. And then wait for an inhalation to let your arms reach out to the side to whatever range of motion serves you. And then let the exhalation bring the hands back to the heart. And flow like this for a few rounds of breath, deeply honoring your breath cycle. We won't be synchronized. We all have different levels of vitality and energy that we're bringing into this moment, and our breath is a reflection of this. And so we don't want to force something into our movement that doesn't correspond with the energy that's present for us right now, with the rhythm of the breath that's moving through us in this moment. So notice how you would like to flow. Perhaps you notice that at the top of the breath, at that point between inhalation and exhalation, there's a tiny pause for you. If there is, just keep the heart open for the duration of that pause and revel in that openness, waiting until your exhalation wants to flow out. And then maybe there's a pause at the bottom of the exhalation before the inhalation travels in. Can you hold your hands at your heart for that pause, deeply honoring that moment of stillness? For some of you, that pause may be almost unnoticeable. Trust that it's there, however brief it may seem. And for some of you, it may be quite lengthy. So let be what is. So locate the pause, experience it, and tend to it by giving it its room, its space. And then simply be with the flow of your breath for just a few more rounds. And then yogi's choice. You can continue to make the arm movements, or you could switch to sun breath arm movements, or you could let the hands rest as you add the sound of a bumblebee to the exhalation. So you decide how you want to use your arms for this breath, maybe not at all. And continue to breathe the same rhythm and add the sound of to your exhalation, honoring the length of your exhalation, not trying to mimic anything you might hear, if you can hear it at all on your video. Tending to your breath here. in the most loving way by letting it have its rhythm and by inviting that sound of M or hum or on the exhale as a way of really reverberating the vibration of the breath through your body. You can continue to breathe like this while I'll talk a little bit more, or if you need to rest your voice, your breath, and your hands, you could simply sit for a moment. The bumblebee breath is a valuable, beautiful breath because it vibrates this large nerve we have called the vagus nerve that is in charge of moving us into our most restful state, our most easeful balance. When we stimulate the vagus nerve, it puts the brake on sympathetic arousal, on agitation, on this sense of stress or fight or flight. And so the bumblebee breath is tremendously beautiful in cultivating easeful presence. If you haven't stopped breathing the bumblebee breath and the arm movement, then finish the round of breath you're on and then simply allow your hands to return to your heart for a moment. And maybe feel the reverberations of that beautiful sound of the bumblebee breath. That sound that isn't just sound in its own right, but it is a sound, a vibration that is entirely calming for your nervous system. It's one of the nicest ways to come back with ease and presence into the present moment. From here, you can stay where you are if you'd like and just continue to ponder this. You could continue your bumblebee breath, or you can come with me for a few gentle cat and cow movements in a seat. So your cat movement will happen on an exhalation where you bow yourself gently forward. Your cow movement will draw the sternum, the breastbone forward as you open the heart. And once again, you follow the rhythm of the breath. I'll show this from the side too. Maybe you have a pause at the end of the inhalation before the exhalation moves you back into that rounded forward position. Perhaps you have a pause at the bottom of the breath before you bring your breastbone forward and open the heart again. Can you be with every phase of the breath in a very kind, compassionate, tending to sort of way? You might notice that over time, those little pauses at the bottom and the top of the breath become more like gaps, where they maybe lengthen a tiny bit. Don't force that. Just notice if that is unfolding for you. It's not a requirement. And notice the vitality that is present in those pauses, and maybe even the shift in energy that you feel on an inhalation versus an exhalation. Finish the round you're on and then take one more round, ending on an exhale with the rounding forward. And when you return to your neutral seat, or you could be doing this standing, of course, if you prefer. Perhaps you bring your hands to your heart for a moment to yet again feel very tangibly the breath, your vitality, and your energy. And maybe notice if anything has shifted in the breath, in your energy, in your vitality. You're not expecting a change, but also not missing it if there is a change. you can stay here, or if you would like, you can move on with me into a version of what I call the human stretching rack. You could do this standing, seated, or even lying down. I'll show it seated. So we'll start with our right hand, which means that the left hand can be placed on the ground next to you if you're on the earth. You could hold on to the left side of your chair if you're on a chair. If you're standing, then you can simply sort of point your fingertips toward the earth, like you were trying to show something on the ground, kind of a very strong movement downward. If you sit on the floor and you can't reach the ground with your hand, take a book or a couple of books, anything, so that that hand can feel grounded. And then look up to your ceiling, up to the right, and then let your right hand point to where your eyes are looking, and then stretch the right hand up toward the sky. And feel the stretch this creates through the right side body. If you're seated, you'll feel this all the way from your right sits bone, in all likelihood, into your fingertips. If you're standing, you might feel this from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingertips. Now, don't overdo here, right? It's easy to get kind of hard and braced in this position, but instead think more about energy just really drawing through the right side of your body. Like you could even imagine that you're drawing up energy out of the ground, you're moving it through your body, and you're releasing it out through your fingertips. And you know, this is actually not all that imaginary, because there is such a thing as a ground reaction force, where if you press a body part into the ground, there is an upward movement that reverberates back through you. Isn't that amazing? And then wait for your next exhalation to release your right hand down. Very slowly, with the full length of the exhalation, the head and the hand move at the same time, so the eyes kind of follow the hand to the earth, and then let both hands simply rest as your head turns forward again, your eyes turn forward, maybe your eyes close, maybe you find a soft gaze, maybe they're open, yogi's choice. And let both arms, in fact, let the entirety of your being just release and relax, draining any bracing or gripping that may have snuck in during that movement. And give yourself the joy of a full round of breath here before you even ponder the other side. And then whenever you are ready, you can press the right hand either into the earth or a book or the side of the chair, or point the fingertips powerfully toward the earth. And then turn your head over and eyes toward the sky. You don't have to force anything into the neck here that doesn't feel good. And then let the finger point in the same direction with the left hand. And then ultimately let all the fingertips point to the sky here. Feeling the length now through the left side body. And notice if you're overly bracing or gripping or wanting, and simply be with the opening without forcing. Imagining that you're drawing energy up from the earth, through your side body, through your lifted arm, and releasing it back into the world through your fingertips. Don't forget to breathe here. You're in a very open-hearted position here, and it may be a very different kind of breath. And so notice if the breath gets a bit choppy, and allow it to stay smooth and soft and silent, even in this moment of challenge. And then whenever you have you experience the arrival of your next exhalation, you can lower your left arm And release your head both down to the side, head turning forward. If it's turned to the side, eyes either looking ahead or closing, or finding a soft gaze on the ground as you release all unnecessary effort from your body here. And perhaps let yourself feel the contrast. It's the same body just a moment later, and yet there may be a profound shift in your experience. And so explore. Is there something that needs tending to in a new way now, either in the body or the breath or the mind? Or do you simply want to be with what is unfolding? If you would like, you could bring your hands to the heart if that makes your vitality or your energy a bit more tangible for you. Or you could stay in whatever position suits you in this moment. You can stay here, or if you'd like to continue on, bring both of your hands yet again to your heart. And then keep the left hand exactly where it is as you open the right arm out to the side and then point behind you so the eyes follow. You could even point your finger, and your eyes and your finger look at the same spot as you inhale. And then as you exhale, come forward using that beautiful 4-part breath we've been practicing. And then with an inhalation, let the left arm move out to the side. Exhale, point and look behind you. Inhale forward. Using those pauses in the breath to rest, and then follow your own rhythm. So it's a 2-breath movement, inhaling the arm out to the side, exhaling it to the back, and inhaling forward and then resting in front. Find your own rhythm, honoring your breath, your vitality, honoring those gaps if they exist for you to any degree. To bring pauses not just into the breath, but also into the movement. The next time you have turned to the left, that's your last round, or that's when you're done. When you come forward from there, simply sit and observe your breath. Your hands could remain at your heart. They could rest in your lap. They could be by your sides, whatever feels good to you. And just notice, be with, locate your point of focus, experience, explore, tend to anything that needs tending to. And be with what is. You can stay with that focus, with that presence. And if you'd like, you can also begin to rub your hands together. They may already be nice and warm, but we're going to make them even warmer by really rubbing them together. And then when you feel that they're nice and warm, separate them a tiny bit And then move your hands toward each other and notice if there's a sense of energy between your palms. And just very gently open and close that gap between your hands a couple of times. Just noticing if you can sense energy very tangibly between your hands. Sometimes it's very noticeable, sometimes it's very subtle. And then if you'd like, rub your hands again, get them nice and warm, and bring them to the back of your neck. And let yourself gently move your hands down along the side of the neck. You guessed it, toward the heart. Sort of a gentle little release of the neck here through the warmth of your own hands. After some movements that sometimes can create a little bit of bracing. So we just want to be really sure that you bring a bit of tending to this region. Maybe you have like the urge to very gently move your head right and left, not for your full range of motion, but just a very gentle side to side. And if you don't have that desire, then don't do it. And imagine, of course, that you're also moving lymph here, but we've been moving lymph for a half hour now, so this is just a little bit of icing on the cake. The next time your hands come back to the back of your head, actually let them interlace behind your head and bring the thumbs to your occiput. Your occiput points are the two sort of knobby spots at the base of your skull, where your skull meets the top of your spine. And this allows your interlaced fingers to kind of cradle the back of the head. Let the elbows naturally travel a little closer toward each other, whatever feels comfortable for you. There's like no right spot. And then gently press your head into your folded hands behind you. You might even take that slight tuck of the chin down before you draw the head back into the hands. And then draw the big upper arm bones into your shoulder socket. And you might feel a bit of movement of your scapulae, your shoulder blades on your back. They're kind of moving toward each other, like they'd like to give each other a little kiss. Don't make this too bracing, but just feel that sort of gentle isometric balance between your hands kind of drawing forward and your head gently pushing into the hands for a little bit of strengthening of the neck muscles. And when you are ready to release this, don't just snap the hands and the head loose from one another. Very slowly begin to ease up on the pressure, the isometric contraction here. And let the elbows reopen a bit. And bring the arms out to the side. And then you can stay seated, but not on the floor. If you're on the floor, you'll have to come to standing, or you'll have to come to a seat that lifts you up a tiny bit. I'll show this on my knees so that you can see me. But you could be standing for this next movement, which will release any tension that we may have created. And it's another beautiful movement that is not only a nice release for your big trapezius muscle, which is a large muscle on your back, but also for your vagus nerve. So I'll invite you to bring your hands to opposite elbows and to just let the arms rest on your belly wherever they naturally come to rest. So hands on opposite elbows, and then the arms resting at your belly. And then we'll move your arms just slightly forward of the belly, an inch, maybe an inch and a half or two, whatever feels comfortable for you. And very gently begin to rock the arms side to side, as if you were rocking a baby side to side. So it's not a huge movement. This is much easier if you're standing. You definitely don't want to do this kneeling. Standing is most easeful, seated on a chair where you don't have a cushion that makes your bum stuck to the chair, but just a plain wood surface so that your seat can pivot along with the arm swing. You want to have a very natural and free release here for your lower trapezius muscle. This is the bottom part of that muscle on your back. You don't need to go far or fast. Just allow yourself to continue to breathe easefully. And then gently begin to move that baby a little bit higher until you're rocking that baby side to side at shoulder height. You might feel even more freedom for your side to side movement, but maybe not. Just notice what's there for you. If you feel very balanced and stable, you could even close your eyes for this movement. You're now bringing a nice release into the region of the mid-trapezius. You are still working with your vagus nerve, inviting it to put the brake on your sympathetic nervous system, even within this stronger movement. And then, to the degree that you can do it, begin to lift the arms even more. Just land wherever it feels comfortable for you. There's like no requirement to bring the arms overhead, though if that's where your arms want to go, that's great. Everything is great. Whether they're at eye level or forehead level or above the head or at chin level, doesn't matter. Your range of motion as you continue to rock side to side. Breathing through the nose. Really appreciating the freedom of this movement across the entirety of your physical experience, your vital experience, maybe even your mind. And then gently begin to descend the arms again until they're back to about shoulder height. And then let them return to somewhere around the belly. And then release the hands from the elbows and just swing side to side a couple more times, letting the arms flow freely now. And then whenever you feel ready to do so, well, you could continue to just swing, but if you feel ready to stop, let that movement just gently kind of stop itself almost. And if you'd like, you could bring your hands to your heart, or you could leave them by your side to once again locate your vitality, your breath, perhaps your heartbeat, and notice any other shifts that may have come about from this slightly more demanding movement. And maybe nothing shifted for you. There's no expectation. There's just curiosity, right? About what may have shifted. Notice if the breath is any different. Can you still invite a nasal breath? Can you breathe through the nose? Your nose is an absolute star at preparing the air for your lungs. Your mouth doesn't have any of those capabilities. And so breathing through the nose is a very beautiful protection for your lungs, for the air that you bring into your body. It's cleansed, it's warmed, it's slowed. It's amazing. You can stay here, or if you would like, you could bring your arms out to the side. And here you have options. I'm going to stand up. I hope you can still see me somewhat. You can stay standing upright And begin to move, the palms are facing forward, and begin to move the backs of the hands behind you. So you're creating a bit more of a heart opening. You can see this. If that's really easy for you and you want to add a little bit of demand, fold at the hip creases like we did last week when we lifted our leg in that balancing shape, and bring the arms behind you from here. So this is completely yogi's choice, right? This is your position most likely if you're seated in a chair, right? So you can absolutely do this even seated in a chair. But if you are standing, then you have the option of fully upright or in this more demanding position, or maybe you do some here and some there. Just a slight drawing back of the arms, release every now and then, and draw back. You might think of the inhale as drawing the arms back, and the exhale causing that bit of pulsation into ease. The next time you've exhaled, let that be your last time to pulse. You might bring your hands all the way to your heart, and if you were leaned forward, come back to an upright position. You could stand or sit, but don't kneel. I'm just showing that so you can see me. And feel your energy now. You can stay here, allowing your breath, your vitality to become as balanced and harmonious as you'd like it to be before you do more. So don't get started again until you feel ready. I'll go ahead and show the next movement, which will start with your palms at the kind of at the top of your legs, just where they naturally rest. There's not a particular spot. You can do this from standing or sitting. And then you'll slowly bring the arms forward, the palms turn out, and you bring the hands up and overhead into a Y. With your out breath, you bring the hands back down. With the in breath, you bring them back into your Y. So out brings the arms down, palms settle on your legs. In turns the palms out and brings the arms up and overhead so that the arms make a Y shape and the palms point forward or maybe toward each other, whatever is more suitable for you. And then you have the same option here as with the T's. You can do this from a bent position. Now your arms will settle a whole lot lower, right? They won't settle to the top of the legs. They might settle on your knees as you move into a Y, perhaps with the inhale, and into the release with the exhale. Couple more times. So finish the round you're on and then take one more round. All four parts of the breath. After your next exhalation, if you're in the forward position, let the inhalation bring you upright. And once again, settle yourself into noticing, into locating, experiencing, exploring, tending to, and being with. The four-part breath is such a beautiful guide for our movement. The inhalation is slightly activating and tends to increase our energy. The pause at the top of the breath invites a lot of absorption of oxygen from the lungs into the blood. The exhalation is settling. It calls on your parasympathetic nervous system, takes the brake off that agitation, brings rest and recuperation. And the pause at the bottom of the breath invites oxygen to travel from the blood into your tissues. It's not enough to bring oxygen into the blood. It has to go into the tissues. Your muscle, your organ, your brain tissue, all depends on that. And that pause at the bottom of the exhalation allows your CO2 levels in your blood to be just right, to release optimal amounts of oxygen into your tissues. So the 4-part breath is beautiful. That's enough geeking out. You can stay here if you'd like, or you can come into the last movement. So we're doing T's, Y's, and W's. We're doing the W's now. We started with the T's, then we did the Y's, now we're doing the W's, right? And with the W's, you're bringing your arms up and down. And this actually works really great. I didn't say this earlier, so don't do this now, but if you do this on your own sometime, do this standing at a wall and slide the arms up and down along the wall. That's one version of the W's. I'll show you another version, and then you can choose which one you prefer. The other version, so this one we do just in this sort of position, right? Either seated or standing. We don't lean forward for this one. The other version of doing a W is to bring the forearms together. The elbows are in line with the shoulders. And then on the inhalation, you open up into the W. And on the exhalation, you bring the forearms back together. So those are your two options for the W's. Both work great, both do very similar things. This second version has the more difficult possibility of being in that forward position. And then the arms have to travel out to the side and down with the inhale, and forward and together with the exhale. And so you have beautiful choices here. You're still moving with the 4-part breath. So you're still allowing your vitality to distribute itself beautifully through your body, allowing for oxygen to travel into the body and for excess carbon dioxide to travel out. Your tissues nourished with fresh oxygen. Your tissues having an opportunity to release any CO2 that needs to be released. Finish the round you're on, and when you're ready, you can either come up with your forearms together or with your arms by your side, and find your heart one more time. Find your heartbeat, your vitality, your breath. And notice how your energy has shifted. So once again, locating, exploring, and tending to, by being patient here, by allowing your nervous system to do its thing to re-regulate your breath, to bring your vitality into balance, to harmonize your energy, to bring you into easeful presence. When you begin to feel your nervous system moving back into balance, begin to ponder where you would like to take your closing meditation today. And when you feel ready, begin to make that transition, either into a very comfortable, supported seat, or a very comfortable and supported supine position on your back. And stay as present with that transition into your shape for your closing meditation as you've been the entire time. So don't just plop down, but be thoughtful, be present. Locate your focus on, okay, what is my choice? Explore, what does it mean to be in that shape? And how can you tend to yourself here to find maximum balance and harmony and comfort? And then let yourself settle into that shape, simply being with your experience here just as it is. Taking a moment to nod yet again to your body, your physical experience. Perhaps expressing gratitude to your body, and then inviting your body to surrender itself to the power of gravity, releasing and letting go, finding whatever ease is accessible in this moment. And then perhaps nod to the breath, nod to your energy, appreciating the vitality that carried you through the practice with a beautiful 4-part breath. And then perhaps surrender the flow of your breath to the flow of life force that moves through all of us, allowing the breath to breathe itself from here. And then perhaps nod to your mind, acknowledging what is present here, thoughts, stories, narratives, feelings, complaints, worries. And invite your mind to surrender to your own deeper inner wisdom that will bring you back to what needs coming back to, but that for the moment also invites a letting go and a releasing of anything that doesn't serve you right here and right now. And then take a moment to deeply acknowledge your inner wisdom that so profoundly guides you through everything, as well as that seed of joy within you that you can nurture and water through this practice. And from this place of having settled into all of your layers of this magical human experience we have been given, I invite you into about 2 minutes of silence. Very gently invite your senses to return to your inner and outer world. Perhaps noticing the sounds around you, the air on your skin, the texture of your clothing. Perhaps tuning into the inner sensations of your body. Noticing perhaps if there is a need for gentle stretches or wiggles, or simply for more quietude. And then gently tune into your breath, reconnecting yourself to the 4-part rhythm, knowing that you're inhaling while you're drawing a breath in, deeply appreciating the pause at the top of the breath, this beautiful gap for a moment of quietude. Truly notice the exhalation as you release a breath out, and perhaps deeply honor the pause at the bottom of the breath that invites you into stillness and letting go. If you're lying on the earth, this is a wonderful time to make the transition to a seat if that is how you would like to close the practice. And of course, as always, you're invited to stay supine and end the practice in your own way. And whenever you are ready to do so, I invite you, if it suits you, to bring your hands to your heart as you bow your head to your heart. And perhaps recall the words of Maya Angelou. Be present with all things. Be thankful for all things. And carrying that presence and that gratitude in your heart, I invite you to tune in to see if there's a takeaway from your practice today. Something meaningful, something important, something that invites you into presence, something that might help you feel grateful. And perhaps that takeaway combines in some way with the intention, the quality that you sought to cultivate on your time on the mat today. And perhaps from that combination of your takeaway and your intention, a dedication emerges. A dedication of the merit from your time on the mat today that serves a greater purpose. This may come to you as a word or a phrase, as a symbol or an open space. However that dedication comes to you, if it suits you, you might use your inhalation to draw that dedication into your heart, allowing the top of the breath to linger for a pause, to settle that dedication into the entirety of your human experience. And waiting patiently for an out-breath, you might choose to send that dedication outward into the greater web of life. And then deeply honoring the pause at the bottom of the breath, let that dedication linger and ripple outward. And as always, thank you all so much for being such an important part of this beautiful Thursday morning community. It's an honor, a joy, and a privilege. Thank you all.